welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Wednesday, so we're going to be doing the Thursday night football preview, starts and sits for this game, talking about it a little bit. So we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks, and the Seahawks are 3-point favorites. So pretty much they're saying these two teams are even since Seattle's at home, gives them 3-point favorite. If they're playing on a neutral site, it would have been even. If they were playing in Arizona, it would have been Arizona 3-point favorites. So that's probably about right. These two teams are pretty evenly matched. We saw that the last time they played, that game went in overtime. Cardinals end up winning at the very end there. And just a lot of things to look at in this game. We got some big injuries for this game as well. Some guys that are out in this game, some guys that are returning or could return. So I think first off, I'm going to start off with the injuries today instead of going through the starts and sits first. So on Seattle side, these are the players that are out so far. Shaq Griffin, Quentin Dunbar, they're two starting corners. Nico Thorpe, he's another corner. Posich, who's the starting guard for them. And then Travis Homer, one of the backup running backs, is doubtful. He's been having a little bit of run when all the other guys were hurt. But good news for them is Hyde is going to be back. He practiced in full yesterday. Carson was a limited participant in practice yesterday. Sounds like he's going to be a game-time decision, so just monitor that. And then Tyler Lockett, he's kind of got that little sprained knee, and he's questionable to play as well. I've heard both ways that he could play or that he just won't play this week, and then they give him rest, and then you got 10 days before the next game at least. So that's the important ones on their side. On Arizona's side, we got Corey Peters and Jordan Phillips are both out in this game. These are two of their top defensive linemen. So the fact that they're getting Hyde back for Seattle and possibly Carson, I think this is a game Seattle should try to run the ball, especially with these holes on defense for Arizona. And then the other two major injuries for the Cardinals are Darrell Daniels, one of their tight ends. He hasn't practiced 3 straight days. They still have him down as questionable, but I wouldn't expect him to play at this rate. Max Williams, the other tight end, he didn't practice the first 2 days this week, practiced in limited fashion today. He's still questionable. I think he'll probably play, but you're not really wanting to start a Cardinals tight end anyways. If you were really desperate for a tight end and both Daniels and Max Williams miss, you could probably play Dan Arnold because he's just the last man standing at that point in time. Also, the over-under for this game is 57.5 points. That's a pretty large over-under. This could be one of the highest-scoring games of the week, honestly, especially with these defenses banged up. And we saw what happened last time. If it's anything like last time, there's definitely going to be lots of points on the board. It's not a game that I'm going to want to bet the over-under on because it could definitely go under, but it could definitely go over at the same time. Start off with the starts and sits. We'll start off with Seattle's side. So you got Russell Wilson. He's a start. I know he's had a couple struggles the last couple of weeks, turnover problems, but I think this is the game he starts getting the ship right again. They've got a little bit of a running game back. They're not so one-dimensional because it's really easy to play defense when you know what the other team's going to do. If you know they're not going to run the ball, you just got to sit back in coverage, go get pressure on Russell Wilson, make him make a bad throw. Carlos Hyde and Chris Carson. So if Carson plays, you can start him. If Carson doesn't play, Carlos Hyde becomes the start in this situation. And he's probably a guy that's out there in a lot of leagues. If your waivers ran today, go out there and see if he's still available. You can pick him up if you need a running back. Just keep in mind that we probably won't know Chris Carson's status in full till tomorrow. So just be careful with that. But you can always pick up Hyde, and then if Carson does play, then you can just drop Hyde. It's not the end of the world, but you could get at least a 1-week starter out of him, potentially. And then for the wide receivers, I got Tyler Lockett. You're going to start him if he plays. If he doesn't play, you're obviously going to sit him. DK Metcalf, he's actually going to be my sit of the week for our article on the Podcastic Network. And with that being said, it doesn't mean you should just start anybody over DK Metcalf. Don't go out and grab Willie Snead and start him over DK Metcalf. Don't grab somebody like that. Don't grab Mac Hollins. Anybody, don't grab lower tier players and start him over that. What I'm saying is if you guys have a wide receiver that's comparable, DK Metcalf's one of the top 10 wide receivers probably this year, but he's very reliant on touchdowns. He didn't do anything the last time they played the Cardinals. If Tyler Lockett doesn't play, it might look better. You might think he's going to get more targets, but put Patrick Peterson on him. They're going to put a safety over the top because they're not afraid of all the other guys. So it's just a very, very limited game for him. If he doesn't score a touchdown, I don't see him paying off this week. So if you got guys that you can throw up in there, if you got a Jacoby Myers that's got a great matchup against the Texans, you could play him over DK. And honestly, I'm playing Jacoby Myers over similar players to that this week because he is a guy that I like a lot and he has a great matchup. For Seattle, the tight ends, you don't want to play any of these tight ends Nobody's really stood out of the pack yet. They've all played, they've all done things, but none of them have done anything consistently. Seattle's defense is obviously a sit. They haven't been good this year. They're missing 3 guys on defense now too, so it's not going to get any better. Then on Arizona's side, we got Kyler Murray. You're going to start him up. He's pretty much the best fantasy quarterback there is so far this year. So I don't know why you'd be crazy enough to bench him at this point in time. Kenyan Drake, if you don't have better options, you go ahead and start Kenyan Drake. If you got a guy that's similar to him that has a better matchup, you can go ahead with that. I think he should have a pretty decent game in this one, but I'm not expecting the game he had against the Cowboys, for example. Chase Edmonds, he's really a borderline guy. Him and Drake were about 50-50 last week since Drake came back. I do expect Drake to take over more of the role going forward, but Edmonds still has a role as a pass catcher. If you need a flex like in a PPR league, you could do a lot worse than him. Then Christian Kirk, last time these two teams played, he had 2 touchdowns. And no, he's a little bit quieter last week. He was a guy that I did like last week going into that game, but it just didn't pan out his way. So I think you can start him definitely in this game, especially with Seattle's secondary woes. And then we got DeAndre Hopkins. He's obviously a must start every week, so I'm not going to talk too much about him. Larry Fitzgerald's the last one. He's going to be a sit for me. Unless you're in a deep PPR league and you need somebody to fill in, then he's not going to kill you. Once again, Arizona's tight ends, they're banged up. You don't want to play them. You probably haven't been playing them all year unless you're real desperate. Like I said, if both of them would miss and you really need a tight end, you got a good tight end on the bye or nobody else to play or your tight end's hurt, you could throw in Dan Arnold in a pinch, but that'd be about it. Maybe he's better off play for DFS if that's the case. Then Arizona's defense, you're going to want to sit as well. There should be plenty of points going up in this game, so they're not going to be one that you want to play this week. I forgot to talk about the kickers. So on both sides, you got the kickers. So you got Jason Meyer and Zane Gonzalez. Both these kickers are very good. There's going to be points put up on the board. They're guys that you're definitely going to want to start this week. But with that being said, I think this game will be very close. I want to pick Seattle to win just because they really need that win. They need to get back on track. I think if Carson plays and they get the running game going, they have a good chance of winning this game. Like I said, both defenses are very banged up. So it's probably going to come down to who can stop who in this game. But I'm going to go with Seattle in my pick. I know it's going to be real close, though. But that's pretty much it for the starts and sits for the Thursday Night Football matchup. A little preview on it. Be sure to leave your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you have any other thoughts, any other start sit questions involving this game, please let me know. And with that being said, if you guys like to enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. And then if you are a new or current subscriber who hasn't already done so, also hit that notification bell down below. Like I've been saying, post up about 5 videos a week, Monday through Friday. If you guys haven't already, be sure to check out my articles on the Podcasting Network. And last but not least, be sure to check out the 2 Point Podcast. We'll be doing previews for Week 11. The Thursday Night Football preview will probably be up tomorrow morning, and then all the other games will be up on Friday. Be sure to look down in the description below. I got links to the Podcasting Network and the 2 Point Podcast on there. We would appreciate it if you guys support me and the other people involved in those projects. If you guys need to get a hold of me for any reason at all, feel free to do so, whether it's down in the comments, at my email, coachcraigsports@gmail.com, on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, or on the Coach Craig Sports Facebook page. But with all that being said, that's all I got for today. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the Thursday Night Football game tomorrow night, and have a great rest of your day.